Well, good morning. I'm Brent Adams here with your Rural Strong Morning Ag Report for this Friday, September 8th, the 251st day of 2023. We begin with a follow-up to yesterday's Farm Bill story. Senate Ag Chair Debbie Stabenow says Farm Bill negotiations are taking more time than expected, slowing down drafting of a Senate Farm Bill.
The negotiations are going slower than I would like, but we're laser focused on getting this done by December.
Ag Chair Debbie Stabenow outside the Senate chamber responding to concerns by Senator Chuck Grassley that the talks with Republicans are way behind schedule, prompting the question.
What is the holdup in negotiations? Where are the friction points?
We just, at this point, I'm not going to get into negotiating in public.
Top Ag Republican John Boozman and his side have complained SNAP spending is crowding out farm programs and the Secretary's CCC spending lacks adequate controls. Yet Stabenow says she and Boozman are leaning on Secretary Tom Vilsack to prop up the Farm Bill baseline with CCC dollars up to $30 billion, allowed for commodity programs like MAP.
I expect if the Secretary is able to do it, that it will be robust funding. I mean, we hadn't seen an increase in years in the MAP program, basically, the Market Access Program.
Even as Stabenow says producers clamor for more trade help. But Stabenow says a more worrisome sign for the Farm Bill is the House GOP's failure to move a USDA spending bill.
I feel like there really is a parallel between the appropriations process and the Farm Bill.
Both are made up of 12 titles or 12 bills. The Ag Appropriations Bill stalled in the House Rules Committee in July when hardline Republicans demanded more cuts. Well, the U.S. Department of Agriculture recently released a forecast for lower farm income in 2023. The net farm income estimate for 2022 was $183 billion, and the 2023 forecast was $141.3 billion. Carrie Litkowski, a senior economist with the Economic Research Service, says the first factor driving farm income lower is smaller cash receipts.
Crop cash receipts are forecast to fall $11.2 billion. When combined with the change in inventory adjustment for crops, the value of crop production is forecast to decrease $0.8 billion. That's less than a 1% decline. Animal and animal product receipts, which I often refer to as livestock receipts, are forecast to fall $11.9 billion with just a small adjustment for changes in inventories.
The drop in cash receipts comes from lower prices and quantities sold.
The primary factor behind the expected decline in cash receipts in 2023 is lower prices received by farmers for their commodity production. In 2023, total cash receipts are forecast to fall $20 billion just due to lower prices, with a smaller change due to lower quantities sold on net. In total, cash receipts are forecast to decrease $23 billion. Most of the decline in quantity sold is from animal and animal product receipts in 2023, but still most of the decline in livestock receipts is due to lower prices.
Another factor squeezing farm income is the cost of inputs.
Production expenses are forecast to increase $29.5 billion in 2023, which would lower net farm income because we subtract out expenses in the calculation of net income. Additionally, government payments are forecast to fall $2.9 billion, and all other changes represents the forecast increase in farm-related income of $2.3 billion.
And that was Carrie Litkowski of the USDA's Economic Research Service. Well, the quality of U.S. beef cattle has come a long way over the years. Dave Lalman, an extension beef specialist for Oklahoma State University, says the industry is much more efficient today than it was decades ago.
If you just look at the amount of beef we produce today in cow numbers compared to what we were doing 30 years ago, the progress is incredible because we produce a whole lot more beef with a whole lot fewer cows today than we used to. That's a really good thing and progress for sure. The other thing that the industry's done a great job of is reducing dystocia problems and tackle the calving ease issue for the most part. You know, all you have to do is go select the genetics that fit your cow herd, heifers, or whatever, and we can find those cattle with calving ease and tremendous growth potential afterwards. So today's cow herd is much, much better in that regard in particular.
Even with the progress, Lallman says there's still a lot of room for improvement.
We probably haven't made as much progress on fertility, reproductive efficiency, as a lot of the other traits that have progressed, like growth and those kind of things. So I think there's opportunity there going forward.
That was Dave Lallman of Oklahoma State University. A special thanks to Ron Hayes of the Radio Oklahoma Network for that audio. Also this morning, the EPA released a draft strategy on herbicide use designed to better protect endangered species. John Walt Boatwright, Director of Government Affairs with the American Farm Bureau Federation, talks about the EPA strategy.
Well, the EPA's herbicide strategy is an attempt to try to bring into compliance their pesticide registration regulations with Endangered Species Act obligations. And that means anytime that they must consider, review, or register a pesticide product, they must factor into the impacts of that product on endangered species and the critical habitats on which those species rely.
The EPA provided a 60-day comment period and recently extended it by 30 days to October 22nd.
The proposal was quite voluminous. There was really in total over 900 pages that comprised the strategy over several different documents. For us, in terms of in industry, to be able to read and digest and craft responses really was going to take too much time. So that's what led American Farm Bureau and other industry groups to formally ask for an extension.
Boatwright says the proposed rule will have an impact on all farmers who use conventional herbicides.
We're encouraging our members and producers around the country to certainly be aware of the proposal and what they're planning, at least initially, to do in regards to pesticide applications and herbicide applications, and to encourage them to be involved with their different industry organizations who may have a role in advocating for the best possible policy.
For more information, go to fb.org. Also this morning, it took more than a year, but University of Missouri researchers welcomed the arrival of one of the nation's first of its kind electric autonomous tractors. It's known as the Monarch Mark V tractor. Researchers called it a revolutionary piece of technology that will get studied for its ability to refine agricultural practices and support farmers with disabilities. The university received the tractor as part of a grant awarded by the USDA's Equipment Grants Program. The new tractor, to be charged with the biofuel generator, will serve as a tool for teaching and research in the agriculture and engineering programs. Researchers will explore the autonomous functions of the tractor, like making use of the sensors and cameras to collect images and then store the data from those images. They also want to understand the tractor's ability to use artificial intelligence to enhance precision agriculture. Researchers are quite excited about the next generation of technology. And finally, this morning, the USDA is celebrating a special birthday for a special and long-running USDA report. More from USDA Radio's Gary Crawford.
It started back when this man was president.
The moment is at hand to put an end to hunger.
And this song was a #1 hit.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
The date?
September 17th, 1973.
USDA Outlook Chairman Mark Chekhanowski says that was when the USDA's World Ag Supply and Demand Estimates report, the WASDE, was first released to the public. And he says it's been pretty much a monthly happening ever since. Farmers and traders give a lot of credence to USDA's monthly WASDE forecast for U.S. and global supply and demand, although for the first few years the report dealt only with U.S. crops.
Global developments were just far less important. We weren't as much of an export-oriented country as we are today.
The report became global in 1980. This Tuesday, September WASDE will be number 640 in the series, which in the early days sometimes came out twice a month. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Well, for more in-depth weekly ag news, please subscribe to the Tractors and Troubadours podcast from Rural Strong Media. Each week, we bring you agriculture industry newsmakers, hot-button industry issues, educational features, and the best in traditional country music. The Tractors and Troubadours podcast can be found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We also invite you to join us each day on Rural Strong Radio, our 24/7 streaming radio station, playing agriculture programming and the best in traditional country music with a little bluegrass, western swing, southern rock, and inspirational music. You can find Rural Strong Radio at ruralstrongmedia.com or on the Live 365 streaming radio app. We're portable, so take us with you when you're out there in the field this harvest season. We'll get you through those long, tough days. We'll be back again Monday with another Rural Strong Morning Report right here on Steve Shetler Media. Have a great weekend, everybody.